Hey, so topic for this video is competition and art. So I do feel like this topic is a bit complex because obviously there will be pros and cons, but my main con is probably the importance that we place on how popular monetizable art can be through competition. So in a sense, the competitive nature of when you produce something, it has to be the super popular thing that everyone accepts because it needs to make money. I feel like this stems from the fact that a lot of there's like a major resistance against the arts in years gone and moving forward because people feel as if something isn't able to make money directly, then it's worthless in this world. However, that's not true. There's quite literally medicine in those paintbrushes. So the concept that it has to make money to be of worth, from my point of view, would be erroneous. And so, and the weird thing about it is that this concept of it having to be, or it, the only value of it is being super monetizable promotes conformity, but not in a way that we're particularly familiar with. So most of us are familiar with the what an Orwellian dystopia would look like, what conformity looks like when people tell you not to be something because your uniqueness makes you different from others, and we want everyone to feel the same. So because of other people lacks of talent, you cannot show your talents. We're aware of that form of conformity. But a lot of us can't necessarily put a finger on the other extreme of conformity where it's like everything is merit based and there's no room for the typical human compassions. And therefore, everything and everyone has to meet these particular stereotypes to be accepted so that they can live the life that they want. That too is also a form of conformity. And we do see a lot of videos about it, and it's adjacent and linked to social media, but it's never really labeled a form of conformity. And I think that's important because sometimes being able to label and classify it the right way really helps get the point across to people. And it's obviously not a social media issue, but it's just being exacerbated by social media. It's just being made more extreme and more prevalent. But honestly, this was the mentality that led us to this point. So it had to be something that we collectively as humans been pushing for a very long time. And I'm not saying this means that as an artist, you should be broke, or as an artist, your art can only be a hobby and you must work a job. No. As artists, we should be able to live just because we're artists. We should be able to live through being an artist by itself. But it isn't because the art pays the bills, but it's because it's just should be a basic human right to have all your fundamental needs met. In other words, in a world where you're born and the fundamentals are already taken care of for you, so by an adult, it's not necessary for you to work a job to eat, have shelter, and comfortable forms of these things, not necessarily what we have available now for homeless people, are in very low income areas, but essentially have the ability to be middle class just because you're here, right? And if you want more, then sure, there are avenues for you to get more. However, you should be able to comfortably just be without having to work for it, because why is there a price tag on everything? Why does everyone claim ownership to something that was here before them? This belongs to all of us. Or better yet, this belongs to none of us, right? And I'm not saying popularity is inherently bad, but it should entirely be left up to chance, especially when it comes to art. We should not force art to be popular so it can make money. The popularity should come from the fact that the current zeitgeist benefits from the art that we make. But a lot of us would find that the art that we make may serve a future generation, and we may never see the popularity with our own eyes. It just may never happen. But that's okay. That's how it was meant to be. For some reason, you felt like you're made to make this art right now. And that's very important that you follow through. By focusing on popularity, it almost makes it as if you won't actually make that art. By focusing on stability, working jobs instead of your art may never come out. And it needs a person in our moment to make this art to help someone in the future moment, because the context of things and the pressures that they're enduring may be different, and it may take someone removed from those pressures or societal viewpoints to see the light of things, right? So that's why it should be left up to chance. Now, here comes the pros of competition. Good, healthy competition. It's actually fun. Um, I'm personally a big fan of hip hop culture in general. And there's a lot of battling from rapping over beat or acapella, even ciphers, and then dance battles, this, that, and the third, graffiti art, whatever, fashion. And it's like, even without the money, the competition makes it fun because we want to strive to be the best version of ourselves to do what we want to do, right? Because a healthy version of competition doesn't encourage conformity, because there's some award that you have to get to survive. That's the issue. You have to get to survive in a world where competition is just meant for fun and encouragement for self-development. Is not a necessity for survival, and more than likely, as we probably have already seen and know, promote individuality. And individuality is fun. It's the opposite of boring. Conformity usually is the boredom. And I do understand why there's such rigid lines in the world, right? I do understand it. I do understand why conformity is necessary in certain aspects, but it's so extreme that we need to cut back on that. And so competition in a healthy sense is fun. And just like how it promotes individuality, it promotes growth, authentic growth. Now you have people growing because they want to be a better version of themselves in this art that they're pursuing. I don't even know if I need to say more than that. It's pretty straightforward. I want to be a better version of myself, and one of the ways to pursue that route or go down that avenue is by being better at who I am and what I do. And that means finding out more about myself, going inside. What do I want? What do I like? And expressing that. And also promote functional self acceptance. We all know what self acceptance is. I just came up with the term functional self acceptance. I'm sure a counterpart for this term already exists, which probably describes the exact same thing. Or I don't even know if the term itself, it may already have another definition, but what I'm trying to get at is self-acceptance outside of a void. Because it's pretty easy to be self-accepting by yourself. But when you're interacting with other people in a competitive sense, you can be tempted to change who you are to be a bit more like them. But now, through this viewpoint of healthy competition, you now have the chance to say, actually, I feel confident in what I do. It may not be the most popular, but that's okay. It isn't meant for right now. And that's you being it's you being, what's the term? Well, it's you accepting yourself in regardless of the fact that there are people who appear to be outshining you. And you're actually being able to demonstrate your self-acceptance. And that's what I mean by functional self-acceptance. When you're by yourself, even though it's great that you are practicing self-acceptance, it's not necessarily demonstrated, it's not necessarily applied yet. You have to get amongst other people and create some friction to apply it. I think competition is a great way to apply it. You actually get to see it. I actually favor myself over what someone else is doing. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to change, but the changes that you make for yourself should always come from an authentic place that is for you, not necessarily for other people. I suppose it could be prompted by other people. Other people can afford you, but ultimately you're making a decision for yourself. And that's the video pretty much. Hopefully it's been helpful or insightful. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you.